It's a bird.
It's a plane!
It's the Gloop guys.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Glute Guys Network. We have an exciting thing happening today. We have another fun person on our podcast. His name is Ryan Hollis. He's a PT DPT, a phantom partner at K2 Physical Therapy, and located in Hawthorne, right, Ryan?
Yes, Hawthorne and Ramsey.
Mm-hmm. Just some history, some personal fitness history. Played some college football. Was a three-sport athlete in high school. Football, baseball, and what was number three?
Wrestling.
Oh, wrestling. I forgot. Honestly, I forgot wrestling was a sport. That's terrible. I do like wrestling.
A lot. I honestly think during the rest of the sport itself was probably the one I hated the most. But looking back at it now, I think I missed it the most now. I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like I didn't give it my all when I was doing it, or I'm not really sure. But nowadays most people in March are watching March Madness, watching the basketball. But last weekend the NCAA wrestling finals was also going on, so I was watching that, and that was awesome. A lot of excitement. Nothing like an exciting wrestling match.
It
They
is
had one on at the restaurant that I was at too. I was watching that, a little bit of the March Madness, but then they had wrestling like two TVs down from it. It was honestly pretty sick. Ryan, which of the three sports was your favorite then?
Football is definitely my favorite. Played it in college. Definitely enjoyed playing it the most. Definitely the most physical, but
It is funny though, like you said, like you never or like wrestling, you never thought you would miss it as much as you do, and now you do more than anything. Like I know for me that I wish, like, for shot put and discus for track, I got a little bit more into it, I guess. Like I definitely could have done better if I was more just dedicated to like the technique and not doing it just once a year for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, see, I wish that I just played more than one sport in high school. I was a swimmer year round, so it's just like even in like fall, spring, summer, like I was just swimming constantly. It wasn't until college that I switched it up and I went to rugby, but it was fun.
what event did you do?
I was an IMer and backstroker.
Uh, Very
Wow,
good.
that's
Distance
actually
or
sorry.
like longer distance or shorter sprints?
I like the longer distance better. Like the long distance for those events would be like, the 400 IM was a rough one. That one wasn't mine. I like the mid distance, like 200. I like the 200 back a lot too. Just kind of give me a little bit more distance.
Oh, that's cool.
A little bit more wiggle room too, to for recovery. The sprints I wasn't a fan of so much.
Gotcha. Yeah, I sink like a rock, so I have all sorts of respect for
Now I
any
do. I sink
swimmer.
around. That was 10 years and about like 50 pounds ago.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ryan, have you gotten into anything like wrestling since school? Like, have you ever tried judo or anything, or jujitsu?
Other than drunken end of nights in common rooms, no. But I always do. I do think about like that Brazilian jiu-jitsu or like judo, anything like that. Thought has definitely crossed my mind about getting into something like that, but no, I haven't actually pursued anything.
I've actually thought of it too. Like I liked contact sports. Like I liked rugby, I liked football, so I figured that'd be a good way to get back into it again. But I also know I would either dislocate my shoulder or get another concussion, or like I would do something stupid that would just make it so I had to miss work for an extended period of time.
Well, I mean, luckily you have a catalog of PTs you can just roll through the Rolodex and just hit up somebody.
Very true.
It was like the risk reward thing for me. It's just like I'd love to do something like that too. Like jujitsu is like super big now.
Yeah.
But I would get myself hurt. I'm an idiot. I would do something stupid. I just started snowboarding. Holly got me into that, so that was
Wow.
transferring it from surfing to snow. Like it was
Oh
similar.
yeah, similar balance types.
Yeah, but I got the hang of it. I'm like after a couple of goes, and I just started gunning it down the mountain, and that's what ends up happening. I end up hurting myself. So
Right, yeah, it's a lot of fun because you can just keep going fast. You can't really
Yep.
carve it up.
Exactly, adrenaline kicks in too.
Yeah.
The only person in my family that's ever skied or snowboarded is my dad, and my dad never learned how to stop. So he would just get to the bottom of hills and just fall over.
You don't
That's
need to
it,
learn how
yeah.
to stop. You're not going.
And the older you are, the harder it is to learn
Yeah,
anything. I mean, especially a sport like that, like your inhibition is so high when you're older because you're so fearful, like you're saying, of hurting yourself. So you're like, okay, whoa, let me be easy here. Whereas when you're a kid, you're just back and
it,
forth.
it is so true. It's like Ryan, we were talking before about like the Spartan race, or before the podcast. Um, some of the stuff is very dynamic. Like you have to jump, you have to do things like that. And when I just started training for it, like, and I was starting doing burpees again for the first time in years, I was like, man, I have to, jump on the ground and jump back up. Like this is miserable. And I was
Yeah.
moving like a lead pipe. But now, it's loosened up a little bit. The old body is
go.
getting used to it.
You just gotta wake it up. Just gotta wake
Mhm.
it up.
I was talking
All
to
those
one of
like little stabilized muscles that you kind of realize oh wow, this does this, and oh, I haven't been sore here in years.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my coworkers, another PT, about it, and it's just like once you get to be like 40 or 50, you start to notice like, oh, I haven't sprinted or jumped in weeks, and it's actually like a good thing to maintain and keep on doing, just to keep your muscles, I guess, up and moving and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I I volunteer at my old high school coaching football actually in my spare time, and sometimes I'll play scout team quarterback, and
Wow.
a few times I've kind of turned it on a little bit and like made a move and did a little sprint, and like the next couple of days the one day my hamstring insertions distally were so sore that it felt like I tore my MCL. It's like, oh my God.
It lets you know. It lets you know, like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not 18 anymore. You're not 21
Yeah,
anymore.
you
Like
you can't make those cuts anymore.
nope, we're
Yeah.
30 and our bodies don't move like that anymore.
Jeez.
But
Yeah, but yeah, something that dynamic. I always think about playing basketball again, but like I'm not going to go to a park and just play by myself, and I
Yeah,
don't have a lot of people near me. Um, but it would be sort of fun to do like a flag football league. Didn't you used to do
yeah,
one, Ryan?
I did when I got out of college. A lot of Hawthorne guys, like guys 4, 5, 6 years older than me, that had a team going. And as soon as I came out of college, they asked me on board. I played with them for a little bit. What was the league? The ACFL, I think it was. Played maybe 4 or 5 years, and then COVID happened, and our team kind of disbanded. But I always say, like, I feel like that's kind of going back to what Aaron, what you were talking about, doing like jujitsu or something, or judo, whatever it is. Like, I'm kind of missing that competitive part in my life right now. Like, sure, I work out at the gym, but it's just like me. But I kind of miss like that competition of, aiming for something, going like playing basketball, even if it's just pickup. I kind of don't play anything for competitiveness anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know we mentioned it on the phone too, and Tommy, I know we talked about it on the podcast before, but you guys should definitely do the Spartan race in July.
every time you guys mention it, I get the itch, and I'm like, I was like, maybe I will do it. I'm training. I go to the gym and I lift. I've been starting to run a little bit more ever since I've been inspired by every interviewee that so far, or
I
not
know,
every, last two has been runners, and I'm just like,
That's
I gotta start moving more because my cardio sucks. But I might join the team for that in July.
Tom, I would have to say the same thing about me seeing your guys' interview with Asante and Tony. That I past 2 weeks I've ran 2 days. It's the most
Hey.
I've probably run it. It's most I've probably run in 5 years.
Yeah, they inspired. It's just like, dang, I gotta run.
Yeah, maybe we're doing something right with this podcast. It's making us want to exercise a little bit more.
That's it. That's it.
No, cardio's good overall. We talk about it all the time.
But just going into your fitness in general, Ryan, what's a normal day look or a normal week look for lifting, splits, stuff like that?
Yeah, so typically, I guess kind of what I want it to be now, my split, I'll try to get in and do something 5 days a week. Today was actually a leg day for me. So typically I've been going legs Monday, push, so chest, shoulders, tris on Tuesday. Wednesday is like a cardio core type of day, so I've been doing a lot of elliptical, stairmaster type work, a lot of deep core strengthening, stabilization type stuff. And then Thursday of late has been this running day that I've recently incorporated, but I want to kind of keep that. I want to try to do at least one day of running outside, keep up the cardio. And then Friday is my pull day, back and buys. I don't touch
Gotcha.
anything on the weekends. I kind of keep that to myself.
Mhm.
Little rest, but I try at least 4 days a week during the week, if not 5.
Ryan,
So
very important question. Out of all the days and all the body parts that you work out, what's your
my
favorite?
favorite?
What's your
yeah,
favorite?
I would have to say legs. I would
Really?
honestly have to say legs. Yeah, yeah.
Spit-
When I can
spit-
get
spit-
my back in shape, I've kind of battled a bad back for ever since I was playing. But which recently I have been activating more core, so I've been pretty good. But yeah, ask Aaron. Even back when we were in school, we used to hit legs like at least right a couple times
Yeah,
a week, Aaron, in
definitely,
the Seton Hall
yeah.
weight room.
With the flex that you threw up before, I was just like, hey, I
Oh.
wasn't expecting legs as the answer.
Pulling up for all of our 90% male viewers.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
So
Stay
you
tuned
have
for the end.
3 strength training days, is that right? And then like 1 or 2 cardio days?
Yeah, that's typically what I'll do.
I mean, that makes sense. It gets everything you really need. I think sometimes as far as strength training, I might overdo the frequency. Like I might do like 2 or 3 days a week of strength training, but I sort of decrease too as I've gotten older and gotten interested in other things.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I think.
Danielle and oh, sorry, what was that?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Danielle and I do like a bike ride once a week now if it's some nice weather, or sometimes it sounds weird. I'll go climb a tree in my backyard. Not very efficiently, but it's like actually a really good back workout.
It's activity. It's activity.
Yeah, and to
You
me,
find
it's
a
like
way.
yeah, it's something that's a little bit more fun, a little bit different. Honestly, sometimes terrifying because I don't like go on like every tree. It's like an easy tree where you see a bunch of branches and you're like, oh, I could climb that thing. And every once in a while you get up there and you're like, I feel like I'm just gonna die.
Help! I can't get down.
Yeah, it's like I'm one branch away from just plummeting to the ground right on my noggin. But I mean, I'm still here, so I've survived so far.
That's it.
Yeah.
There you go. But like you said, Aaron, it's like finding different ways to do exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you get older, you can't keep up with these gym bro workouts type of stuff anymore. So it's a lot of kettlebell stuff. It's rotational stuff. I mean, you do it. I remember you telling me you have those Atlas stones. You do all that kind of stuff. It's finding different ways to kind of train the same muscles, but not overly destroy your joints as you're doing.
Yeah. I guess that's why they always say the best exercise is the one that you like to do because you can stay consistent doing it. And most likely, if you do it in the right way, you'll probably be fine.
Right.
Unless, you're like a quarterback or doing a scout team quarterback thing and you're maybe doing some pops and quicks or in jukes that you're not used to.
Knock on wood, I haven't lost a hamstring yet, so I've been doing all right.
Do you think that it's a little residual from the knee injury in high school? Or you think it's just the joints aren't used to it anymore?
No, it was definitely muscular. It was like you know how your distal hamstrings like kind of work for your lateral stability. It was 100% that.
Gotcha.
Because I haven't made those cuts and anything like that in a long time. But it was definitely that.
Now, Ryan, what knee injury did you have back in high school? It was
my senior year, I partially tore my MCL.
okay.
It was a wet night. I planted, foot stayed in the ground, body kept turning. And and then I actually got PRP injections before they were cool. Now kind of they're way more of a thing these days.
Trendsetter.
It was, I mean, it's still pretty experimental. A lot of insurances actually still don't cover it, I don't think.
No,
Um,
like,
most don't, right? But yeah, this was like when it was still very, very new. And everybody always asks me, like, I'll have patients ask me, like, oh, like, did you feel like you got better faster? And I say, I don't really know. Like, I didn't have a comparison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In theory, I think it's a great procedure, right? Like you're
Mhm.
taking blood, you're getting stem cells, you're spinning them down, you're injecting it to an injured site to hopefully heal the area faster. But I mean, you don't know if it's actually making it heal faster because you don't have a comparison. So
jury's still out on that. It's
right,
they're doing more and more research. I mean,
yeah,
in theory, it makes sense. It's like you take everything that your body essentially needs in order to
exactly,
heal it fast, and you just put it in that area. So we just hope that our body does what it's supposed to do with it.
right.
Interesting. So,
Right.
going into our next topic, some weightlifting myths, or just myths for the gym. Well, I got a list of a bunch of them. I figured we could just go one at a time, see what we have to say about each one.
Rip them off. Let's go.
Myth number 1: lifting weights makes woman bulky. What do we have to say about that?
I would have to disagree with that. I think lifting weights is for male or female is very good and not going to make you bulky. Sure, if you do your sets and reps for more power, more strength, then you're going to put bulk on. But there's different ways to lift, not just for bulkiness or strength or power.
Dr. Tom,
Yeah, no,
any thoughts?
I agree with that too. That's exactly what it all depends on how you're lifting. Just because you're putting weights in your hands doesn't mean it's gonna make you bulk. I mean, most bodybuilders are also doing weightlifting for their cuts too. They're doing a lot of cardio to shred down fat, but you do a lot of the lighter weight, higher rep to get the tone to set a little bit more too. So no, I agree with what Ryan said.
Yeah, I also think that like just women see bodybuilders, like female bodybuilders that are on the juice and have been doing it for years, and assume like, oh, I'm going to look like that if I just lift one weight. And that's, I think, just part of the misconception. The stuff people see online is not what's going to happen. Even if you're lifting for a year, you're not going to be as huge as any of those bodybuilders, especially if you're not taking some steroids or something on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm lifting weights in that higher rep range is actually very, very good for fat burning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Actually, speaking of fat burning, that goes into our next myth. You can target fat loss in specific areas. Thoughts? You want me to say that one again?
Yeah, go ahead. Targeting fat loss
in specific areas. So, for example, I want to lose weight in my left thigh. So I'm going to start doing leg exercises to lose weight in my left thigh. It just, it's getting a little tubby. Oh, we have a
I was
kitty
thinking that. Sorry.
The camera.
No, I don't think you can do that. So no.
Tommy, what do you think?
Absolutely not. No, that's no. It's an absolute no. That's even and like one of the biggest common things that people see instead of the left thigh. Let's talk about a very common area that people want to lose it is the belly fat. So they think that targeting specific core exercises is going to eliminate the belly fat. Yes, it will help, but that's not its primary thing. You're actually just targeting the muscles. Losing the fat is a whole different kind of scenario. Not just doing crunches is going to get rid of that.
Yeah, I agree. That one's sort of funny. I mean, it is like you see all over like fitness and healthcare things, people talking about like losing weight in a specific area, but I don't know what makes people think that's so possible. Ryan, have you ever heard of wood therapy for losing weight?
It's
Wood?
great.
Wood therapy.
What is it, like banging that body part against wood?
In a way, yes. But Ryan, you might actually have one of the tools to do it. If you go into your kitchen and get a rolling pin, you might be able to actually just roll the fat on your
Yeah.
stomach like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
yes.
look up.
That's what I do on Thursdays after I run.
Oh, good. We can tell it's you got
when
you
you
got
get
those
the
wood-board abs.
when you get the chance, look up wood therapy online, and it's pretty comical. It's just like you see these like chubby ladies just like standing there, and then a guy with like a rolling pin or like something like that, just like going at it, just like really shaking them down. And they're like, "This is how I keep everything tight and good looking," or something.
It just shows like how naive that like we can be about certain things. It's like, you just throw anything on the internet. The amount of like fads that I come across on like Instagram in a day. Sorry, I'm gonna rant for a second. On Instagram in a day is absurd. People will believe anything nowadays. It's a market. It's a business.
Yeah, but like to your point there, if you get somebody who's convincing enough and seems like they have a bunch of followers, and Mrs. Jones is like, "Ah, yeah, that checks out. That's great. I'm gonna start doing that."
Oh yeah.
Actually, that makes me think of a question for everybody here. Are there any, I guess, influencers you see online that you feel like tell a lot of stuff that's not good, or like they give a lot of misinformation, I guess you could say, about just fitness, healthcare in general? I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're out there. I don't really know anybody specifically, nor would I call anybody out specifically on this, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anyone specific that I'm gonna call out, but there's an account that I follow because he goes and he shreds people apart for doing that, who like edit the hell out of pictures and whatnot. I think what's his Instagram handle? It's like Goob something, and he just shreds those people constantly. So I'll put that in the description. He's very funny to watch, actually. I feel semi bad because he goes and he shreds some of these people, but I'm like, you know what? Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I guess I can't even think of anyone either, honestly. I think a lot of the times I agree with a lot of stuff people say, and then there's some stuff I disagree. And I can't even think of anything off the top of my mind. But, a good example is there's this one guy. I made a short about it. I don't know what this guy's name was. And he was talking about a stretching program. And if you looked at, do you guys know who Juji Mufu is?
No.
who?
Juji Mufu.
Yeah, exactly.
Jew Jingle Flu?
Juji Mufu. Wait, let me put his name in the chat.
No.
So he's known for being like, he started off doing tricking, which is like backflips, flips, and things like that. And then he got really big in bodybuilding, so he got really, I guess, strong and muscly, and then he maintained a lot of his flexibility. So that's basically how he got famous. He did some weird like lifting things. And the reason I bring up, I think I just messed stuff up. Hold on a second. Sorry about the recording, everyone. Oh, this is a disaster. I'll get back into it. Sorry. What have I done? Okay, it's back to normal. I tried sending a video and it messed everything up. But okay, going back to it. Juji Mufu is this guy, very flexible, very muscular, and he had this other guy on his channel that is also very flexible. He do a lot of crazy stuff. I forget what his name is. I think it's like David something. And basically, they did this routine to help improve Juji's flexibility as far as like his thoracic mobility, his shoulder mobility. And if you look at the before and after photos, like they're saying that they increased his shoulder mobility, but it's not like straight up the first and second, or the before and after. So the after photo, he was actually rotated more, so it looked like he got more range of motion. And then on top of that, just his thoracic mobility was more, like he extended his back more in the second photo than in the first one. So if you look at it quick, it's like, wow, he got so much more range of motion. But in reality, it probably wasn't that much. I mean, that doesn't mean it's a bad stretching program. It's just you have to be careful with what you see.
Of course, and I think to that point, I guess maybe that type of post is not aimed for a trained eye like yours or mine or Tommy's. Like it's for somebody who's gonna be like, oh my gosh, wow, look how much more improved that is. Not like, oh well, he's rotated and he's arched a little bit more. And
Yeah, it's something that I mean, like 99% of people probably aren't even gonna care about.
exactly. The PTI is a blessing and a curse. You're constantly
Yeah.
critiquing oh, that person has definitely a total knee replacement, or that person's got a hip, and
Yeah. Oh, I
I have to
have.
put a hoodie up in the gym so they're like blinders for a horse. So I just stop looking at people. I'm just like, you guys in the gym. I'm like, everyone. I just want to hand everybody my business card.
See you in a couple weeks. You're doing this severely wrong.
Yeah, I'm not gonna correct you now because
I don't know why that just popped into my head. I had a patient that's knee extension was 30 degrees. Like,
like,
normal,
So they lacked
neutral.
30
No.
degrees
No. It was 30 degrees of extension.
of hyperextension.
Hyperextension, yeah. It was,
Ouch!
yeah.
Ow!
I was like, she was walking
Was
with
there
it
no?
very unstable.
You got
I don't want to like say too much about her medical history, or else like, I might
Sure, yeah.
give away who it is. But she was very unstable, and one of the things I told her was like, just don't let your knee do that. Just let your knee stay
Just
neutral,
don't let you-
and she walked better. It looks like way more stable with her knee not 30 degrees into hyperextension.
Interesting.
But like Ryan was saying, we like a lot of people wouldn't even think about it. They'd just be like, "Oh, that looks a little wonky." Like I know even before PT school, like there was a lot of times where I just didn't think anything about how people were walking or standing, and then as we learned stuff in school, it's like, "Oh yeah, that person's knees are pretty terrible," or like we had certain professors that had terrible mechanics when they were walking. I guess I'll stop there before people start figuring out who I'm talking about.
I think to that point, Aaron, I think it's also that like PT school has also helped me help myself too.
Yeah.
Like help my mechanics and like how to engage and how to, fire muscles when I felt like they weren't really firing, or, they were a little, I guess, quote unquote, turned off. I know that's a controversial topic, but I'll say it anyway. But yeah, no, I think, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse going through PT school. Obviously, the PTI and then being able to help yourself I feel like it's beneficial to me.
So Ryan, can you tell our viewers what this controversial topic is as far as muscles on and off? Or what are the sides of thought or trains of thought?
Yeah, I feel like people think that like you can turn your glute on and off, or so if you have a specific injury, this is kind of where I lean on the fact that if you have a specific injury to say your knee, your body might turn off or not allow muscle signal down to the quad to create stability. And I think that being able to PT step in and say, okay, now we need to really kind of work on just a simple thing as a quad set at first to kind of just wake that muscle back up, and then you kind of progress from there. But I'm in the camp that muscles do end up, your body kind of does a defense mechanism and does kind of turn them off. And I think it's important on our end to be able to retrain them and retrain that mind muscle connection to fire that muscle back up. But then there's other people who think like, oh, of course not. You can't, a muscle just doesn't turn off. It's always firing. And I get it, but I don't know. I personally think that it does happen, and that does need to be triggered to be turned back on and create that mind muscle connection a little bit more. And, I think that what ends up creating a little bit more stability for that specifically injured area.
I think that like in defense of your original, that like muscles can be almost turned off. Like my population geriatrics is a good example of how sometimes people don't move for so long that a muscle just like doesn't work. Like you could barely move your arm or your leg. then you have them start training, exercising for a week or two even, and they get just increased range of motion that they didn't have before. And maybe that is just like you're just learning how to activate your muscle properly again or move your body again.
Right.
Like, that being said, I could almost see the other point of view that like muscles should always be on.
Right.
I guess
I can't remember exactly what article it was. This is gonna be zero help, but I know it's out there, and I'm gonna try to find it. I could be making this up too, just like the social media influencers. But there is an article out there that talks about like injury, inflammation, and fluid for certain muscles, and actually like deactivation of certain muscles. And one in particular that they studied was the quadricep, and they found that like during like post-op recoveries, that just I want to say it was like 3 cc's of fluid, like the tiniest amount of fluid that could slip right behind the patella would actually cause the quadricep to just turn off. Which is a lot of times like how I describe my patients, like when you're walking after your like your knee replacement, or if you're walking after you have an injured knee, like Ryan after your MCL tear, that like subtle moment where it feels like your knee's gonna give out, but you catch yourself. To me, is that like moment of the muscle turning off and back on, like momentarily. So I semi agree with the side that muscles can be turned off, just not like deactivated in full. I think
Right.
I think we've said it before on this channel and a bunch of times too. It's just like there's never black and white. There's always a little bit of gray, where there could be a little bit. Yeah, it depends.
It depends.
Shout out to every Seton Hall professor that ever told me it's always a gray area. I understand now more than ever what you guys all meant. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. No matter how much at the time, it could sometimes be a little bit annoying.
Yeah.
Going back into our stuff, Ryan, would you prefer to talk a little bit more about some of these myths here, or would you want to go into being a shadow partner at K2, or do you not care at all?
Rattle off some more of those myths.
All right, let's see. Myth number 5: the more exercise, the better. Thoughts?
That depends. No. I think there's definitely too much is no good for you. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with David Goggins.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys were talking to the runners, and so so Goggins in his book, You Can't Beat Me, I think it was called. He was training for all these ultra marathons, this and that and the other thing. I forget how many miles he was running a week, but those ultra marathons are like 100 plus miles. He starts to say that his body just kind of like started to shut down. Like he was doing too much, that he thought it was like cardiovascular. He got checked out by the cardiologist. He got checked out by the neurologist. Nothing's wrong. Ended up being that his like psoas was just so tight that it was just pulling him down and down, that the overuse of those muscles just started to turn his body off. Like even his organs started to fail on him.
Wow.
But there was nothing actually like internally wrong with him. It was just that his body was so overworked. So to that point, there's definitely such a thing as too much exercise. So more exercise is not always better.
Wasn't he also the guy that broke his feet when he was running and just kept running?
Yeah, I mean his book gets into like graphic detail of I think he decided to run like an ultra marathon on Thursday and he ran it on Saturday with no like super training. And he talks about how like his kidney was failing, he was like shitting down his leg, he was like peeing brown. But he finished it. That was his big thing. His big thing is like your mind is such a powerful thing that you have to be able to get control of it, right? Control your mind. If you can control your mind, then your body is going to be able to do so much more.
Yeah, it's definitely like a complex topic, because it's like that's like great that he did it, but the long-term ramifications might not be worth
he
it.
beat the shit out of his body.
Yeah,
a toll on it, definitely.
Like I think something we all do is like we do pretty functional things as far as training, and it keeps us. I think it's going to keep us functional a lot longer because of it. We're not doing 100-mile runs very often, and or especially things that we just don't train for. I think
Yeah,
that's a big
yeah,
part of it. Like you said,
definitely.
he just did it. He didn't really do
Right,
anything to
which
train for it. He
is
just sort of did it. Like,
which is wild to me because it takes everything in me to get myself to go out and do 3 miles, let
yeah,
alone 100 plus.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I know. I got the most I've done is 7, and I'll be at like 3 miles. I'm just like, oh gosh, every
What's insane
muscle.
is I think the most I've done was like 3 or 5. Like it's not much.
I don't think that's sad. I mean, I think that us doing that much running is still a lot more than a majority of people ever do,
Sure, yeah.
True.
which is pretty
Thanks for making me
crazy.
feel better, Dr. Aaron. I know I feel really good.
Here I am to pat everybody's egos. Here, let's get into the next myth. Myth number 6: supplements are necessary for building muscle.
Mm.
What do we think, Ryan?
I'm a little biased because I've been on supplement. My dad got me into stuff since I started lifting in 7th grade. I don't think, I think they're what they are. It's a good supplement to building muscle. I don't think it should be the only thing that you rely on to build muscle. And I don't think it, where was I going with that? It shouldn't be the only thing. Um, so you should supplement it with, and whole food shouldn't be the only thing, is what I was getting at. Neither only one or the other. I think them combined is kind of where you're going to get your maximum.
Wait, so when did you start using supplements?
I just started taking protein when I was in 7th grade.
Gotcha. And then do you do any extra ones now aside from protein?
I take a pre-workout that I'm not too proud about. I've been trying to get myself off of it.
I feel like you've been trying to get yourself off a pre-workout for years.
Ryan, I did it too. I used to take like Mr. High or like PMP, like a lot of like the ones that have like like way too much caffeine for course in it. It's rough to come down from them.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, I was off all that stuff during PT school. I was off all of it for a long time, and then I started working, and then I started working out at 5 in the morning, and I need a little kick in the ass in the morning because without caffeine in the morning.
So a little backstory: Ryan and I used to work out every day when we were in PT school. So I don't know, eat lunch, do a whole lot of fun activities together.
Very nice.
You didn't have any pre-workout when we were in PT school?
I don't think so. I think that's when I was like off of it.
Wow. But that's really not like that many supplements either. It's basically just caffeine, protein. Like that's not crazy. Like some people do.
I stack a creatine with my protein too.
Oh.
Which is the supplement of the last 2 or 3 years. There's so much research coming out of the benefits of it. Everybody used to hate on it. It makes you bloated, it kills your kidneys, this, that, and the other thing. And now there's so much research that it, like, especially for as you get older, it decreases the like the sarcopenia effect as you get older. But it also has like mental benefits as well. And there's so much stuff out there right now about the benefits of it, which is great. Which is like weird though, because I guess for so long people were like, it was like taboo. People were like, oh no, it's bad for you, it's bad for you. And then they're like, wait a minute, let's start doing some research on it. And then they're like, oh shit, wait, that's actually pretty good.
So do you have?
It's interesting, yeah.
If someone wanted to start using creatine, do you have any recommendations for dosing? I mean, I know it's dependent on the size of the person, but how to get started if someone wanted to use creatine?
Honestly, no, I don't. In terms of dosing, I know that creatine monohydrate at its purest is definitely the best thing for you. And I've also heard that the research shows that creatine monohydrate, a lot of people don't digest too well. But if you take creatine HCl, I guess that was a hydrochloric acid.
Yep.
It It digests a little bit better, with the same effects as creatine monohydrate. But in terms of dosing, I'm not really entirely sure. I know I use a tablespoon, but
That's
I'm gonna
interesting.
have to. I'm gonna have to try the creatine HCl because for some reason I used to take creatine all the time in college and whatnot too. And one day I haven't taken it in like a year now because one day I bought the same brand I always did for creatine monohydrate, and I just took started to take it again, and I thought that I was gonna meet God that day with how bad my stomach was hurting.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
oh
what?
yeah,
Like, what happened? So you know what? Maybe I'll try the HCl then and see how it goes.
So,
yeah.
are you aware of any like negative side effects for creatine?
Me?
Anyone?
I mean, they definitely are. No, I choose to ignore them.
You
They
gotta
don't
love it.
exist if you don't look them up, Aaron. Everybody knows
That's
that.
right. It doesn't count if you don't know about them.
Ignorance is bliss. That's all that
That's
matters.
right. That's right.
And do you think that you have to be someone who works out frequently to use creatine, or do you think it has to be for anybody? Anybody can use it, like some guy that just goes to work every day.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be a frequent. Like, I think there needs to be definitely some form of strength training, at
Mm-hmm.
least like a couple times a week, but I don't think it needs to be like a frequenter. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I think because there's more than just strength and muscle and endurance gains. Like I said, there's that mental capacity, there's that mental benefits. There's also energy. There's studies that show that a lot of pre-workouts actually not only have caffeine, but they have creatine in them too.
Yeah, I definitely have heard that too. Honestly, I haven't even looked into creatine supplements, and who knows how long. I think I might have had some creatine in my protein when I was in high school, and just didn't really know anything about it. I was like, oh yeah, that's great. But right now, all I have is just Quest protein, which is just a sweet protein, and that's pretty much it.
Just a
That's it.
sweet one.
Yeah, it's a nice, tasty protein that
Sweet as in like tasty, or sweet as in like cool?
No, it's tasty.
No, okay.
I have a sweet tooth, so if something is very sweet, I will like it. I mean, I
There
take
you
a
go.
multivitamin, but I don't know if I guess that does count as a supplement. But I feel
Yeah,
like
it
that's
is.
nothing too crazy. What's that?
You taking Flintstone multivitamins?
Ooh,
I mean, I have a gummy. Obviously, I wanted
The
the sweet
Chewies.
ones. Yeah,
obviously the Chewies.
Flintstones are the classics.
I think.
Fun fact. I think they actually make like creatine gummies now.
They do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I was
those
Bubba
have.
listening.
has a version of it because my coworker brought them in the other day, and I was reading the bag. I was like, "Are these creatine gummies?" And he's just like, "Yeah, they're really sick." But they were the monohydrate, and I was terrified to try one because I didn't want to die at work. So
Fair enough. There's only one toilet at work, so
Sure.
let's see.
You see a patient walk in right after you finish. They never come
Oh,
back.
that's the worst. That is the worst.
blame it on the next guy. Be like, the chiropractor is just in here.
Yeah, when staff has to share a bathroom with the patients, that's no bueno.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be in our building, which is like an ALF memory care, and I'll go into a
Mhm.
bathroom and it's just putrid. And I'm just like, I hope no
Ugh.
one sees me come out of here and just thinks
boy.
I just dropped a bomb in there.
Oh god.
How does that work for you, Aaron? Like, what if you're out on the road and like do you just like find a Dunkin' real quick?
Oh, I know all the places to stop. There's like Wawa's are always a good one. Quick Check. I used to go to Dunkin'. I don't go there as much because during COVID they didn't always like it when you came in and peed because I guess it's not very sanitary.
Fair enough.
They say we're not allowed to pee on the side of the road, so I never did that.
Who's they? Who's they? Who is they?
Our bosses, I guess, the higher ups.
I think the law also says that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a good day.
Like, no, officer, I'm just on my break right now.
I know some people that would just go in patients' houses.
Yeah,
But-
that was kind of what I was like getting at. Like, would you ever? I don't know if I would be able to ever.
I don't want to. It's like to be honest, like I don't like I like my patients, but I don't want to stay in their house more than I need to.
Any longer than you need to. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You're not gonna end up doom scrolling in their bathroom, you mean?
no, I would rather not drop a deucer in my patient's house. If anything, that's the nice thing about having that building I go to. I can just, if I have to drop a deucer, I can just drop a deucer. Oh, there was this one day that I
Oh
had
boy.
a stomach virus or something, and I had to go every like 20 minutes. And that day I ended up going home because it was so bad. But
God. All right. What's
I
our next
barely
gym
made.
That's, we digressed. We digress.
Okay. Myth number 7. You must sweat for a workout to be effective.
Ooh. No, I don't agree with that. However, I kind of believe that personally.
Yeah.
Brain off. Ryan believes that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I need to get a good sweat. I also wear like a sweatshirt and a long sleeve shirt for every lift I do. So I'm definitely sweating. But I do feel like it's like I just feel better if you get a good sweat, you know? But I don't agree that you need to.
I was gonna say that too. When I do a workout and I sweat a lot, I'm like, wow, that was a good workout. And then if
Yeah.
I don't, I'm like, was that a good workout today? I can't really tell.
Right. Right.
I do think for me, because I've been doing a lot more cardio recently, I don't sweat as much for strength training. Like
Oh, okay.
I do a little bit, but just like I don't think my heart rate really gets kicking as much when I'm just going for a run. Like when I go for a run, my heart rate is around like 160 to 170 the whole time because I'm, a tubber. But when I do like a strength training workout, it's around like 90 to 110. And then it probably, of course, spikes when you're doing the actual lift. But I just don't sweat as much when I'm doing one of those workouts. Or if it's a little chilly in the basement and I'm just wearing like a t-shirt or something like that, I might not sweat as much. But that's just for me.
You gotta go sweatshirt, man.
I do a lot. When I do running, I usually do like long sleeve everything. I do something. There's something nice about lifting in a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I like lifting in the sweatshirt. Like I said, hoodie on, blinders. You just kind of zone everybody out. I like that feeling.
It makes me feel like I'm tough.
I'm that guy. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos. I guess they're TikToks. I don't know. But like the type of guy at the type of person at the gym. I'm the guy who with the hood that hates the world and is listening to like emo rock and roll and shit.
Yeah.
That's me.
But then like someone comes up and talks to you, and you're like one of the nicest people in the gym.
I've been like the gym mayor recently. Everybody has been talking to me, and I can't not talk anymore. I used to always make fun of my dad for it. So, oh, Dad, what are you doing, mouth today? And now I'm that guy.
You turned into your dad. It's inevitable.
I mean, that's a
It's
good
awful.
thing. You have a good community around you. You got some people that like you.
Yeah.
No one talks to me in my gym, ever.
Isn't that your basement?
Yeah.
Danielle doesn't talk to you.
No, she definitely doesn't.
I was mid set from like a heavy bench set, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see someone coming down the stairs. Like, who is that? And Daniel's like, "Hey!" I was like, "Jeez Louise, you almost gave me a heart attack." I was pretty much just like, "What?" And she was like, "I'm sorry."
Wait.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Aaron, you gotta at least tell her that if she walks down there and finds you with the bar on your chest dead, to at least put another plate on to make it look like it was more impressive. All right, we want to make sure you didn't die doing 3 plates. We died doing 4 plates. So
yeah, my little pea shooter waits. I got to impress somebody for when the EMS comes. All right, our next myth. Stretching before exercise prevents injuries. Thoughts?
Yes and no. It depends.
Is there a common theme here with these answers?
Except the fat one. Yeah, no, I think stretching certainly reduces the chance of injury, but it doesn't, it's not an automatic for sure.
Yeah.
And stretching is certainly a wide variety, right? So, I mean, typically a dynamic stretch is what you want to do, whereas
Mhm.
most people think of stretch as a static stretch where they just bend over, touch their toes, spread their legs, touch their toes. Which sure, it's better than not, but I think a dynamic stretch is definitely way better than just a static stretch.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think a little bit of mobility is always good beforehand, but also like if you're someone who doesn't typically stretch a lot before your workouts and you go and you stretch a boatload some days, you might actually end up proning yourself to more injury
Yeah. Oh yeah.
than you did if you just kept it the way that you were doing it. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I honestly just won't stretch. I'll go and just start to warm up, and I'm like, if I were to go and sit down and do a stretch for a while, I would probably end up hurting myself. Or run the risk of hurting myself more.
I always think of like when I think of just stretching or just warming up in general, what my high school football coach used to always tell me, which was if you're not sweating profusely by the start of the game, then you're not ready to start playing.
Okay.
I still remember like some of our warm ups, I'd be like, I'm tired already.
Yeah. Well, there's a fine line. Like I don't disagree with his statement, but I don't fully agree with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a fine line.
Would you say it depends?
One might say it depends.
Yeah.
One of them gray areas.
Yeah, like if you're sweating, it does show that your body's warm, that it's ready to go.
More, right.
But like if let's say it's football and there's snow on the ground, you're probably not going to sweat as much just because of the sheer cold. But if you're in the middle of the summer, you could probably walk halfway down the block and start sweating, especially with all those pads on.
Very true.
So yeah, like we said, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm thinking we get through 2 more of these myths, and then we'll call it a night. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Whatever. Doesn't matter to me.
Myth number 9. Well, sorry, myth number 9. Machines are safer than free weights.
Safer.
Machines are safer than free weights.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do actually kind of agree with that one. Because there's less stability, right? So typically with a machine, they say machines are a little bit better for beginners because you don't have to recruit all those stabilizing muscles. I think that statement is
so you're saying machines are safer than free weights, whereas this website that I got says machines and free weights are the same as far as injuries, like same likelihood for injury.
I think a machine would be a lower likelihood of injury personally. I don't know, Tommy, what do you think?
I see. I think it's with free weights, there's more degree of motion. You know, it's like
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, versus like the machines, like there's usually one plane of motion.
Right, it's one plane of yep.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
one thing that they brought up. Say it again, Tom.
What's the website say about it?
They basically say, because I took screenshots, so I would have to open up the thing again, but what it says here, exercise and cable machines can be great to help guide movements correctly, but often target isolated muscles rather than engaging multiple muscle groups like free weights do. Both machines and free weights have their places in a fitness regimen, but one is not necessarily safer or better than the other. Proper form and technique are what matters.
Yeah, I don't think there's not one that's better. That I wouldn't say there's one that's better. But I personally, I do think if you're comparing free to machine, I think machine are safer than free.
Yeah, like if I was gonna recommend someone to do like a bench press type movement on a machine or free weights, if it's a new person, I would probably tell them to do the machine.
Yeah. Right.
Because I mean, if you think about it, like when you're benching with those, you can move the barbell to any which direction. And that's
Mhm.
the biggest thing. It takes a lot more coordination. And I'll even say, like, I find it at times even more difficult to bench press dumbbells that are heavy versus like a barbell that's heavy, just because of that extra degree now of separation. You have to focus on
Absolutely. Oh
the
yeah.
movement.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I guess of all of these, this is the only one so far that we're like, no, I don't really agree with that at all.
Right.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
that's odd.
I mean, listen,
Yeah.
anybody can be a dumbass and like, do the actual machines wrong and get themselves hurt, but I think the degree of being able to get yourself hurt is a lot less on a machine.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
if I'm doing a bench press and I'm doing it wrong, it's so likely that you could hurt yourself. But if you're doing a machine wrong,
Hmm.
I feel like it's just you could struggle through a machine and sort of get it up there and be okay. But if you're doing everything wrong on a bench, you could just like drop it on your neck.
Right.
And you
Exactly.
can let go of a machine and just even if it's a bench press, it's gonna
Right.
stop.
It's gonna
before it
stop. Right. It'll stop before it kills you. A bar won't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what machine would actually be more dangerous than like a free weight. Like what, a squat machine? Probably not. Maybe like a leg press, you could get squished in there, but honestly, your bones will probably protect you if you get squished by the weight.
Even a leg press, most of them have like a safety thing right there.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
okay,
usually like a stop.
Even if you like don't lock it in yourself, there's a stop there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't think of any machines that are safer or more dangerous than the actual counterpart that's a free weight. Huh. All right. Well, next one. The last and final myth. Oh, volume is volume. Doing 100 reps in a row provides the same effect as doing 10 sets of 10. So as long as you do volume, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Your body needs. I mean, I don't know too much of the research, but and there's different varying, I guess, time of what benefits strength or what benefits endurance, what benefits power. But your body needs the rest. If you're looking for endurance, sure, do 100 straight in a row. But no, to answer your question.
Yeah, it's like 100 straight reps is going to be harder to perform than 10 reps 10 times. So
Right.
it depends on what you're looking for. Like, yeah, if you want that endurance factor, then yeah, the 100 reps is going to absolutely help you with the endurance. You might even go into that overuse section too, where you're kind of overdoing it.
Yeah.
And then the 10 by 10, it could be more strength / endurance. So yeah, no.
Yeah, that makes
But,
me think. Oh, sorry, you go.
And then when it comes down to it, like, I think that's a big thing about like why a lot of CrossFit injuries occur. It's that AMRAP stuff, AMRAP stuff. You start to lose your form, right? So like, if you're doing a barbell squat 100 times in a row, there's no way you're maintaining the same form after 15 reps, regardless of how much weight you have on the bar.
Oh,
Yeah.
Think about like I'm Ryan. I'm sure that you've done like a set to failure at the gym, and think about those last couple of reps. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know what, it got done, but it didn't look good.
Nope.
Yeah, it makes me
You're
think
moving
of
like this. You're doing a whole arm curl, a whole body curl, and
Jesus Christ!
then you get up. Oh shit.
Yeah, it makes me think of the SAID principle, specific adaptation to imposed demands. Like if you're doing 100 reps and they're just super easy, you're not really demanding your body. If you're doing 10 sets of 10 and you're struggling for 8, 9, and 10 for each set, you're probably going to get a lot more out of it too.
Yeah.
So, it sort of depends.
Right. It depends. Yep. You ever do 10 sets of 10? Holy smokes.
No.
I've done 10 sets of 10 squats.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but last time we lifted together, we did 10 sets of 10 squats.
We did, right?
Yeah, we did it at your gym. Yeah.
Good times.
My legs felt.
That 7x7 pyramid was pretty rough too for like bicep curls. You start like 1 and you hand it back to your friend. They do 1, you go all the way up to 7.
Yeah.
That sucks.
We used to do burnouts where it was you you put five. Well, I was younger, so I was pretty weak, but we put 5 5s on each side of the bar, and you do 10 with 5 5s, then you do 10 with 4 5s, and you go all the way down to 0 5s. That one was a lot of fun. As we got stronger, we had to use more weight, but it was a little bit tough. But I think that's probably everything we wanted to talk about today. Dr. Tom, Dr. Ryan, anything else you guys wanted to talk about today?
No, nothing that I can think of.
No. What I would love to do in a future episode is kind of talk about like businesses and stuff like that. I'd love to dive into the business realm of what it's like being a partner for you, Ryan. I think that'd be a fun episode that we can kind of get back together in the future and talk about everything too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we were getting up to around an hour and really just talked about a lot of other interesting stuff like personal fitness and myths, but I think it was very interesting. With that, thank you everybody for watching, and everybody have a nice day.
Have a nice night.
All right. Appreciate you guys for having me on.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, Ryan.